All right, so this is Boomer. He's here for a 3-week board and train. The nail stuff isn't really included in the board and train, but I do it with every dog that comes in for board and train or boarding because I'm obsessed with nail care. So his family, his owner said that he doesn't like nail trims. He's not a fan. He freaks out. I forget exactly what they told me, but I hear it a lot. People tell me that, oh, well, I can't trim my dog's nails because he doesn't like it. He freaks out. And I get it, 100% I get it, but that doesn't really tell me a whole lot because no dog really comes out of the box liking nail trims. Like, we have to actively teach them how to tolerate it. And there are a million steps, or not a million, there's a bunch of steps between starting and actually clipping a nail. And if you just tell me, my dog doesn't like their nails being trimmed, I can't trim their nails, that doesn't really tell me at what step in the chain they have a problem. So just as a side note, there's a dog back there in a crate that's way too small. I know, like, it's just for this video. He's 115 pounds, and that's the biggest crate that I have. Normally he's free roaming, but just PSA, if anybody watches this and goes, holy shit, that's a really big dog in a really small crate. But anyway, so there's a lot of steps in the chain. There's a lot of links in the chain between starting and actually clipping a nail. And if you just tell me that my dog doesn't like it, that doesn't really give me a whole lot of information on where in that chain the problem is. So we have to find that. We have to find the step in the chain. So say that there's 10 steps, 10 links in this chain between starting and actually clipping a nail. There's more than that, but just to be easy, let's think about it as 10. So if your dog is, like, if you grab their paw, you pull their paw up and you go to clip their nail and they're like, I don't like that, or even if they bite you or nip at you or whatever, that's like step 9 in that chain. So if they're having a problem and, like, actively showing you they're having a problem at step 9, I guarantee it that they are showing you smaller signs that they are not comfortable at steps 3, 4, or 5, or even sooner. So if we don't address the problems that we're seeing at the earlier steps, we're not going to have any chance of success in the later steps of actually clipping the nails. So we have to find out where exactly that dog has a problem and then fix the problem and then move on to the next link in the chain. You can't skip directly to the end or you're going to have problems. And you can't address those problems without addressing the problems that come before it. Because if your dog isn't comfortable with you handling their paws, pulling their toes apart, pinching their nail to hold it to be able to clip it, they are no way in hell going to be good with you clipping the nail. If you can't hold it to clip it, they're not going to be cool with you clipping it. There's just no way around it. You have to look at it as a link in the chain, and we have to fix the link in the chain before we move on to the next one. So the way that we do that is through food. You can do it without food. I like to use food just because it makes it go easier, it makes it go faster. But what we're going to do is, I've not done any nail stuff with him yet. His nails are really long because he doesn't like them being done. But I'm going to go down the chain to see where in the chain we're going to have some problems. And then when we get there, I will show you how we address those problems and move on. So I do have the clippers in my pocket. I'm not going to bring them out right away because that's putting the cart before the horse. That's way down the chain. So the first step I'm going to do, so just as to be clear, I'm going to do some troubleshooting with him to see where the problem in the chain is and see what we can do to fix it. So he's laying down right now. He's hanging out. And if he pants, just as a PSA, we just came in from outside. So if he is going to pant or something, normally that's a symptom of stress. I'm going to take that into consideration if he does start to pant, but also we just came in from outside, so it might not be that entirely. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start by running my hand down his leg, not even to his paw. I know you can't see that very well, but he tolerates that okay. Normally I wouldn't be holding it up this high, but just so you can see it. He tolerates that okay, so good job. I'm going to run my hand down and I'm going to grab his paw. He's concerned. See, he's licking. He's starting to pull away a little bit. Now you're relaxed. Yes. And I'm going to reward with food. As soon as he relaxes, I'm going to reward with food. So that's step 2. That's step 2. And he's already showing me that he has a problem. He's already showing me he's not comfortable. So why would I be surprised? I'm not surprised. Why would I be surprised that he has a problem with his nails being trimmed when I can't even hold his paw without him being concerned? So I'm not pointing this at anybody in particular. I'm not saying that his owners are doing anything wrong. A lot of dogs are like this. Most dogs that are like this, that they bring them to me or they message me and say, my dog hates his nails being trimmed. I can't do it. He bites me. Okay, can you hold his paw? Most of them will say, well, I don't know. Okay, we'll start there. Because if you can't hold his paw, there's no way in hell you're going to clip his nails. So we're going to do that again. I'm going to run down his leg. I'm going to hold his paw and I'm going to squeeze it just a little bit. I'm going to move his toes a little bit. Yes. And I'm using his kibble. I like to use their kibble, but you don't have to. You can use treats. Good job. So I'm going to give him a little break between each rep. I don't want it to be like touch food, touch food, touch food, touch food. I want it to be touch food, touch food, touch food, that kind of deal. So I'm going to run my hand down his leg and I'm going to touch it with the other hand now. Ooh, he didn't like that. He doesn't like that. So he's trying to pull away. I'm not going to make it easier and I'm not going to make it harder. I'm going to slow down just a little bit. Yes. I'm not going to let him be successful pulling away because then he will learn that that works and he can get out of it. Obviously, I'm not going to ask him to do anything that he is going to really struggle with at this point. That's not fair. But I am going to push him just a little bit and then not allow him to pull away until he relaxes and quits trying to yank it away, and then I'll let him go and mark a reward. So I'm going to grab his paw and I'm going to touch it with the other hand. See, he doesn't like that, which is, it's normal. It's normal for him to not be a fan of that. So I'm just going to paw at his paw a little bit, and I'm going to run my fingers in between his toes. Yes. So you see how early in this chain that he's having discomfort. So of course he's not gonna be cool with nail trimming, which is 10 steps down the road, if he's not cool with these beginning steps. Good job, Boomer. Grab the paw, I'm gonna touch. And this time I'm going to like hesitate on his toes, and I'm gonna hold his nail just for a second before moving on. He doesn't like that. Good job. Good job. Hold on, you're okay. You're all right. So if this were a dog that was going to actively bite me, yes, I would do more than 1 or 2 reps on each step, and he would likely be muzzled and muzzle conditioned so that he doesn't think of the muzzle as a bad thing. Like teach him to tolerate it just to be safe. But he's not going to bite me. If he was, like my first dog that I ever had as an adult, he would bite me if I were to even like touch him like this. So I would go really, really slow with that dog. So like I would do 3 or 4 reps of just touching his leg instead of 1 or 2. Just go super slow. So I'm going to hold it. So most dogs are not going to like you handling their paw with the opposite hand, because this is a very, it's a very artificial thing. Like it goes from holding with one hand to like touching with one hand. Usually they're okay with that, but for the most part, the only time that you hold their paw and touch it with the other hand is when you're clipping nails. It's not a very natural thing, I guess. It's not a very organic thing. Yes. So notice, I mean, obviously I've been talking, but this video is several minutes long. It's probably, what, 10 minutes long? And I haven't even gotten the clippers out yet. So, like, this would be probably 1 session if I weren't, like, actively filming and wanted to show you some progress. But this, I would do like 5-10 minute sessions and then be done for the day. I'm going to push him a little bit just for the sake of filming so you can see some progress, but I wouldn't normally. Good job. So I'm going to touch his nails. God dang, his nails are long, man. He's got hairy toes, so you can't really tell. So what I'm doing now is I'm pushing the hair back from his nail, which is, again, a very artificial thing. It's a very staged thing. It's not something that you would do naturally unless you were going to trim his nails. And he's licking my hand. He's telling me, hey, stop, I don't like that. I'm just going to continue. I'm not going to make it more severe. I'm not going to make it harder for him. I'm going to make it a little easier, but I'm not going to back off until he kind of relaxes a little bit. It's hard to tell how long their nails are when they got fluffy feet like that. So he's uncomfortable. You're okay. You're okay. Hey, you're all right. You're okay. You're okay. So is his non-reward marker. It is not a threat. So non-reward markers, you can use them or you don't have to. That's totally up to you. I use them as information, saying that was the wrong choice, try something else. There is no implied threat to it. There is no or else. Yes. So he tolerated it, so I'm going to pause and give him some food. So with a non-reward marker, there's no or else, there's no implied threat, there's never a correction that follows a non-reward marker. It's just, no, that was the wrong choice. You need to try something else. That's not available to you right now. Also, a really good sign is that he's still taking food. He's not too nervous. If they stop taking food and it's a conditioning lesson where I'm like actively trying to make sure that they're okay and teach them that this is okay, if they stop taking food, that's a problem. You're going too far too fast. Again, that's just my personal opinion. If it's an actual nail trimming session after you've gotten them comfortable and they stop taking food, it kind of depends on your reinforcement history. If that dog has had a lot of really good experience with nails and it just happens that one time they're not all that comfortable, just continue and work through it. But if it's something that you're actively trying to get them okay with and they stop taking food, that's a problem and you need to slow down. Yes, good job. So that's like step 5. I have not even close to nail trimming yet. Like, this is a long process. Yes. So I get the question a lot of how do I get my dog to sit still for nail trims? And the place command like this is really helpful because he's had a really good history with the place command. Nothing bad happens to him on place. Not that nothing bad happens as in like no stress ever happens on place, because I will use the place command to proof behaviors and things, but he's always been really successful on place. It's always been a really good place to relax. He gets rewarded a lot on place. But if you don't have place, that's fine. Get into a routine where it's like, and don't even start with nails. Start with body handling in areas that they're comfortable with. So like the way that you would start when if a dog doesn't have a place command that you can use for this, start by having them sit in front of you and stroke their back. Yes, food. Stroke their back. Yes, food. Stroke their back and down the front leg. Yes, food. Stroke their back and down their hind leg. Yes, food. So like establish a routine where you're touching their body in exchange for food, and then you will get into a routine really quickly. And they'll start getting the idea. So if you notice, I'm only focused on this front left foot. Dogs do not generalize well at all. So I'm going to make some progress on one foot, and then I'm going to move to other feet. I'm not going to bounce around a whole lot until he gets the idea of the exercise. So if I did, like touch the front left foot, touch the front right foot, touch the back foot, touch this foot, like that progress tends to be slower than if you just do like touch this foot, make a little progress on this foot, make more progress on this foot, and then go to another foot, where they kind of get the idea. Because dogs don't generalize well at all. So like this exercise of like, I'm going to touch this foot is not usually going to transfer to the other foot unless you make some progress down the road first, where they're like, oh, okay, I understand. This is the idea. You're not introducing a whole new concept across several feet. That's just my experience. You can do it however you want. That's just my experience. So I'm going to make it a little harder. So I push the hair back on his feet. And then I'm going to hold the nail out and pinch it a little bit. Yes. A lot of dogs will have problems with that, where you're pinching the nail with your fingers. A lot of dogs will have problems with that, especially because people use really shitty nail clippers that actually pinch the foot, pinch the nail, and it hurts. So if dogs have experience with that, that's bad. Like, get better nail clippers. I use Miller's Forge, the red-handled ones. If I use a nail trimmer, I like a nail clipper. I use a Dremel usually, but that's a different conversation. Oh, you want me to touch your foot in exchange for food? Look what he's doing. He's like, hey, bitch. You want me to touch that, huh? Oh, what a good boy. What a good boy. Yes. And you will get that a lot, where they start to understand, like, hey, this is the ticket to food. Touch my foot, please. So I'm going to pinch a couple nails here, and then I'm going to call it a session because I don't want to push it too hard. His nails are like cracked, which is a problem. Like, me just touching the cracks on his nails is not comfortable for him. So I'm gonna be kind of careful here because I don't want to cause him any actual pain. Yes. The problem with nails getting really long is that they will cause pain for the dog. They'll either like push into the ground where it's like wearing high heels backwards all the time, or like with him, they'll crack and then it hurts. So when you have a dog that doesn't tolerate their nails being handled, their nails being trimmed, and they're painful, it's just a wicked cycle. It hurts, so you can't touch them, and you can't touch them, so they hurt more. Like, it just, start early. Start with your puppies doing this. And his dew claws are really long. Dang. Yes. All right, so that's where I'm going to end it, just so you don't have to watch like 30 minutes of this. But you get the idea. You get the point. Nail trimming is like chain number 50 in the chain, like link number 50 in the chain. There's a lot of things that we can do to help him get comfortable without actually trimming the nails. Like, most people go too far too fast, and they tell me, you know, oh, my dog doesn't like their nails being trimmed. Okay, what step in the process did I have a problem with? Then we can address that. So hope that helps.